Stop everything you're doing right now because what I'm about to show you is the single most shocking political moment of 2026 so far. And it's not coming from the left. It's not coming from CNN. It's not coming from some anti-Trump activist. It's coming from the woman who was literally Trump's most fanatical defender for 6 straight years. I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. And in a moment that's now being called the greatest political betrayal since Judas, she stood on the steps of the United States Capitol, looked directly into the cameras with survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring standing behind her, and said the words that are now echoing across every corner of the internet. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. And then, with the entire world watching, she made it crystal clear. She was talking about Donald Trump, the President of the United States. The man she once called her political hero. The man she defended through 2 impeachments, an FBI raid, 4 criminal indictments, and endless attacks from the media. She just called him a traitor. But that's not even the most explosive part of this story. Stay with me until the very end, because what Marjorie Taylor Greene revealed in a series of bombshell interviews over the past few weeks is not just about Trump. It's about the complete and total destruction of the MAGA movement, the exposure of Fox News as a propaganda machine, the revelation that billionaire donors are running America instead of the people, and a prediction that Trump will be impeached for a 3rd time before the end of this year. This is not a drill. This is not exaggeration. This is happening right now. And by the time you finish watching this video, you will understand why millions of Americans who believed in MAGA are now questioning everything they thought they knew. Let me take you back to November 18th, 2025, because that's the day everything changed. That's the day Marjorie Taylor Greene stood at a podium outside the Capitol, surrounded by women who had been raped as teenagers by wealthy, powerful men connected to Jeffrey Epstein, and she delivered what political analysts are now calling the most devastating takedown of a sitting president by one of his own party members in American history. She started by addressing the elephant in the room, the fact that just 2 days earlier, Donald Trump had gone on Truth Social and called her a traitor. Not just once, but multiple times. He wrote that she was a disgrace to the Republican Party, that she had gone far left, that she was wacky and ranting and completely unhinged. He withdrew his political endorsement, announced he would fund a primary challenger to destroy her career, and told his 90 million followers that Marjorie Taylor Greene, yes, that's what he called her, was an enemy of MAGA. And how did she respond? She didn't back down. She didn't apologize. She didn't beg for his forgiveness. Instead, she doubled down and launched a counterattack so brutal, so personal, so factually devastating that Trump's entire political operation went into crisis mode. Greene looked into those cameras and said, "I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for, and I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary, and I've never owed him anything. But I fought for him, for the policies, and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition." Then came the knockout punch. "Let me tell you what a traitor is," she continued, her voice rising with emotion. "A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me." Those words, "a traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves," were not random. They were deliberate, calculated, and aimed directly at Trump's heart. Because what Greene was saying, without saying it explicitly, was that Donald Trump is the real traitor, not her. That Trump is serving foreign interests, serving billionaire donors, serving his own personal wealth and power instead of serving the American people who elected him. And she wasn't done. In the days and weeks that followed, Greene went on a media blitz unlike anything we've ever seen from a former Trump ally. She appeared on CBS News, on PBS NewsHour, on 60 Minutes, on YouTube shows, on podcasts, and in each interview she peeled back another layer of what she now calls the greatest political deception in modern American history. On January 28, 2026, just days ago, Greene sat down with YouTube host Kim Iverson and said the 5 words that are now trending across every social media platform. MAGA was all a lie. She didn't stutter, she didn't hedge, she said it with absolute certainty. MAGA is, I think people are realizing, it was all a lie. It was a big lie for the people. Then she explained exactly what she meant. What MAGA is really serving in this administration, who they're serving, is their big donors. The big donors that donated all the money and continue to donate to the president's PACs and donate to the 250th anniversary and are donating to the big ballroom. She was referring to Trump's $400 million White House ballroom project, funded entirely by billionaire donors, while millions of Americans can't afford rent, can't afford health care, can't afford to put food on the table. Greene continued, and if they're donating to all these things, those are the people that get the special favors, they get the government contracts, they get the pardons, or somebody they love, or one of their friends gets a pardon. This is huge. This is a former insider, someone who was in the room, someone who saw how the sausage was made, telling us that the entire MAGA movement, the movement that was supposed to put America first, that was supposed to drain the swamp, that was supposed to fight for the forgotten American, was actually just a massive grift designed to enrich Trump and his billionaire friends. But Greene didn't stop there. She went after Trump's foreign policy, saying it's the foreign countries. They are running the show here. It's the major big corporations and what is best for the world. That's really what MAGA is. She accused Trump of focusing on foreign conflicts, meeting with Netanyahu, with Zelensky, threatening Iran, launching military operations in Venezuela, while there's practically a civil war breaking out in America. She posted on X, Zelensky today, Netanyahu tomorrow. Can we just do America? She talked about how the America First agenda completely disappeared the moment Trump returned to the White House. She said that during the campaign, Trump promised to focus on Americans, to bring jobs back, to lower costs, to end foreign wars. But once he won, all of that evaporated. Now, MAGA is about whatever country Donald Trump said it was about instead of America. Greene got personal when she talked about her own children. I care about the fact that my kids, who are Gen Z, will never be able to afford life. That whole generation, they probably won't be able to buy a house. They can't afford health insurance. They can't afford car insurance. Most of their jobs are going to be replaced by AI. Like, that's the stuff I care about. This is the reality for millions of American families right now. Housing prices have skyrocketed, healthcare is unaffordable, wages haven't kept pace with inflation, student debt is crushing an entire generation. And according to Greene, Trump is completely ignoring all of it because he's too busy serving his donors and foreign governments. Then Greene turned her fire on Fox News. And this is where the story gets absolutely wild, because Fox News has been the propaganda arm of the MAGA movement for years. They've defended Trump through everything. They've given platform to conspiracy theories, election denial, January 6th, revisionism, all of it. And now one of their most frequent guests is calling them out. Greene said, people watching Fox News every day, 24/7 with their volume turned all the way up in their living room so loud you can't hear anything else. Those are the baby boomers, and God bless them. Those are my parents' generation. I love so many of the baby boomers, but they are the most brainwashed generation because they eat that crap. They just eat it up all day long. They're spoon-fed the propaganda on TV. Think about how devastating that is. Greene is saying that Fox News viewers, the core Trump base, the people who never miss Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham, are being actively brainwashed with propaganda. She's saying they're being manipulated, lied to, fed a constant diet of fear and anger designed to keep them loyal to Trump no matter what he does. And then she predicted that this propaganda machine is about to collapse. But they don't have much longer, she said, referring to the baby boomer generation. And so I don't know how the political industrial complex is going to continue to brainwash Americans because we're just not brainwashed anymore. She's saying that younger generations, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, are not falling for the same tricks. They're not watching cable news. They're getting their information from social media, from independent journalists, from sources that can't be controlled by the political establishment. And that terrifies the people in power because it means their ability to manipulate public opinion is dying. Now let's talk about what caused this spectacular falling out between Trump and Greene, because this is where the story becomes morally reprehensible. It all comes down to Jeffrey Epstein. For those who somehow don't know, Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire financier who ran a massive child sex trafficking operation. He raped underage girls and offered them to powerful men, politicians, businessmen, celebrities, foreign leaders, at his private island in the Caribbean and at his mansion in New York. Epstein was arrested in 2019 and died in jail under extremely suspicious circumstances while awaiting trial. For years, there have been rumors of an Epstein client list containing the names of all the wealthy, powerful men who abused these girls. And the government has had these files but refused to release them. During his 2024 presidential campaign, Donald Trump promised that if he won, he would release the Epstein files and expose everyone involved. He said he would drain the swamp and hold the elite accountable. Millions of Americans believed him. Survivors of Epstein's abuse believed him. They thought finally, after years of being silenced, they would get justice. Marjorie Taylor Greene met with these survivors in a closed-door hearing in Congress in the summer of 2025. She listened to their stories of being raped as 14-year-olds, of being passed around at parties, of being threatened and blackmailed into silence. These women came to Congress with one simple request: release the files so the world knows who did this to us. Greene was moved. She promised these women she would fight to expose every name in those files. She held a press conference and publicly declared that justice would be served. And that's when Trump called her. According to Greene, Trump was screaming so loudly that everyone in her office could hear him through the speakerphone. Trump told her that if the Epstein files were released, my friends will get hurt. Let me say that again. The President of the United States was more concerned about protecting his rich, powerful friends than about getting justice for teenage girls who were sexually abused. Greene also revealed that she asked Trump to invite these Epstein survivors to the Oval Office just to meet with them, to show he cared. And Trump refused. He said they hadn't earned that honor. Women who were raped as children haven't earned the honor of meeting the president, but billionaire donors get private meetings and special favors. That tells you everything about Trump's priorities. In September 2025, Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie introduced the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a bill to force the Department of Justice to release all Epstein-related files with no redactions. This was exactly what Trump had promised on the campaign trail. Massie needed signatures for a discharge petition to force a vote, and Marjorie Taylor Greene signed it. She was one of only 4 Republicans brave enough to sign. Along with Massie, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace, Trump exploded. He called Greene, texted her, demanded she remove her name. When she refused, he launched a vicious attack on Truth Social, calling her Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying green grass turns brown when it begins to rot, calling her a lunatic and a disgrace. He announced he was withdrawing all support and would fund a primary challenger to destroy her. And then the death threats started. Greene has said publicly that Trump's posts led to direct death threats against her and her children. She told CBS News, "Am I going to get murdered or one of my kids because he's calling me a traitor?" She said the threats often used Trump's nickname, Marjorie Taylor Greene, proving they were directly fueled by his rhetoric. When a reporter brought this to Trump's attention and asked if he was concerned about her safety, Trump used the insult again. He said, "Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think her life is in danger. I don't think anybody cares about her." A sitting president of the United States was told that his words were generating death threats against a congresswoman and her children, and his response was to mock her and say nobody cares if she dies. That level of cruelty, that level of callousness, is beyond anything we've seen in modern American politics. Meanwhile, Trump completely reversed his campaign promise about the Epstein files. After months of calling it a Democrat hoax and pressuring Republicans to block the vote, Trump was finally forced to sign the bill in late November 2025, when it became clear enough Republicans would vote for it anyway. But when the files were released in late December 2025, they were heavily redacted. Names were hidden. The most damning evidence was classified. Trump had promised full transparency, but what Americans got was a sanitized version designed to protect the powerful. The files did reveal that Trump had taken at least 8 flights on Epstein's private jet in the 1990s, including 1 trip with Epstein and a 20-year-old woman. But Trump has denied any wrongdoing. Epstein survivor Haley Robson, who actually voted for Trump in 2024, held a press conference and said she no longer supports him and would love to see him impeached. She stood up and said directly to Trump, "There is no hoax. The abuse was real." Another survivor, Jana Lisa Jones, said, "I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class. Show some real leadership. Show that you actually care about people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment. These are Trump voters turning against him because of how he handled this case." On November 21, 2025, after months of escalating attacks from Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene announced she was resigning from Congress effective January 5, 2026. In her resignation statement, she said she refused to defend Trump against impeachment impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against her and tried to destroy her. She predicted that Republicans would lose the midterm elections in November 2026 and that Trump would be impeached when Democrats take back the House. Trump's response? He told reporters, "I think it's great news for the country. No gratitude, no acknowledgement, just cold dismissal." And here's the thing. Greene's predictions are starting to come true. Trump himself admitted on January 6, 2026, that he expects to be impeached if Republicans lose the midterms. He told House Republicans, "You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, I'll get impeached." The polls are showing exactly what Greene predicted, a Democratic wave. Over 10% of House Republicans are retiring, which historically signals an incoming electoral disaster. Trump's approval ratings are at their lowest point since taking office. Political analysts are saying Trump has already become a lame duck president, unable to pass legislation, relying only on executive orders that can be easily overturned. Greene warned that the dam is breaking in the Republican Party. She said more and more Republicans are stepping out of line because they're entering campaign mode for 2026 and need to distance themselves from Trump. Even Indiana Republicans refused Trump's demand to gerrymander their state to rig the elections in his favor. Vice President J.D. Vance, when asked about running in 2028, said he'll sit down with Trump after the midterms. Translation, if Trump loses badly, Vance is distancing himself. Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and others are jockeying behind the scenes, preparing for a post-Trump world. Now here's what this all means for you, for me, for everyone watching. Whether you voted for Trump or against him, whether you believed in MAGA or rejected it, this story should make you furious because it's not about partisan politics. It's about a system that values money over people, that protects abusers over victims, that makes promises to voters and then serves billionaires. Marjorie Taylor Greene called herself naive for her unquestioning loyalty to Trump. She said she's matured and learned how Washington really works. "I haven't changed my views, but I've learned Washington, and I've come to understand the brokenness of the place." She's saying the game is rigged, and she was a pawn in it just like millions of Americans who believed Trump would fight for them. In her CBS interview, Greene said something incredibly powerful. "In my heart, I feel completely freed of this whole situation, because if President Trump called me a traitor over standing with these women who were raped, victimized, trafficked for so many years, and this is something the government completely covered up and protected rich, powerful elites, if that's why President Trump called me a traitor, then I'm completely okay with it." She chose truth over power. She chose victims over the political machine. And for that, she was destroyed by the man she had defended for 6 years. Greene is now a symbol of what happens when you prioritize morality over party loyalty in Washington. The machine tries to crush you, but she's still speaking out, she's still fighting, she's still demanding justice for those survivors. So what do we do with all this information? First, we share it everywhere because the mainstream media might bury parts of this story that make Trump look bad, but the truth needs to reach millions of Americans. Second, we demand accountability from our government about the Epstein files, about who's making decisions in Washington, about who our elected officials really serve. Third, we pay close attention to the 2026 midterms, because if Greene is right and Republicans lose, Trump will be impeached for a third time, and that will reshape American politics for a generation. And fourth, we remember this moment the next time any politician makes grand promises about fighting for the people, because Greene is living proof that sometimes those promises are beautiful lies designed to win votes while they serve billionaires, donors, and foreign interests. This is the story they don't want you to hear. MAGA was supposed to make America great again. But according to Trump's most loyal defender, it became about making billionaires richer, protecting powerful abusers, and abandoning the people who believed in the promise. Marjorie Taylor Greene gave Trump everything: her time, reputation, career, unwavering loyalty, and he called her a traitor, threatened her life and her children's lives, and destroyed her politically, all because she stood up for rape victims. That tells you who Donald Trump really is. If this video opened your eyes, if it made you angry, if it made you think differently about MAGA and Trump and American politics, smash that like button, share this with everyone you know, and subscribe, because I'll keep bringing you the truth the powerful want buried. Comment below. Do you believe Marjorie Taylor Greene? Is she a hero or a traitor? What should happen with the Epstein files? Should Trump be impeached again? Will Republicans lose the midterms? Let's talk in the comments, because democracy survives when we shine light on corruption and demand answers from those in power, regardless of party. Thank you for watching until the end. Your attention matters, and I'll never waste it with lies or spin. This is real journalism, real truth, and it's more critical now than ever. Stay informed, stay engaged, never stop questioning power, because the moment we stop demanding accountability is the moment we lose our democracy. Until next time, remember, the biggest betrayals come from those we trust most, and the most dangerous lies are told by those who promise to fight for us. When the truth finally emerges, when we see reality behind the promises, that's when we have power to demand change and build a better future. Stay strong, stay informed, never stop fighting for truth.